Hello, DarthSteve333 here again with another pickups video. As you can see, one of my previous pickups is running in the background, Thunder Force 4. Right, so what I've been doing the last few weeks, same old really. Seen a few car boots, not quite so many as I would normally, and visiting charity shops. Haven't been to any retro game shops. Right, without any further ado, because I'm not sure how long this camera will record for, let's get cracking. So, a couple of miscellaneous finds from charity shops from a couple of weeks ago. First one, PGA Tour 97, which I've picked up mainly because it's got the old style case without the PlayStation flash at the bottom. That'll upgrade one of my sort of more valued games. I don't think I actually have this, so this will get added to the collection, albeit in a lesser case. Another one, again, I've certainly got Sam & Max Hit the Road. I'm not sure if I've got Day of the Tentacle, but again, I don't think this was 50p or a pound, so as was PGA Tour 97. I couldn't resist this. It is Day of the Tentacle and Sam & Max Hit the Road, double pack for the PC, so quite happy with those. Probably best charity shop finds from the last couple of weeks has been these for £1 ago. I think they were £1 ago, it might have been £1.50. Apparently someone else saw them first, picked them up, had a look, and I don't think wanted to pay what they were asking, because the discs were apparently scratched. They've got a few light marks on, but I've seen a lot worse. Anyway, they're PlayStation games. I've got Tomb Raider 2, Total NBA 96. I hadn't seen this for years, and then I've sort of seen two in a relatively short period of time. This is the one with the holographic cover. I'm not sure if you can make that out, but yeah, good. What was it? I think I've taken the prices off. I'm sure it's either £1 or £1.50 each, which I was more than happy to pay. Another one which I can't help picking up regardless, just because it's such a good game and I wasted so much time on it over the years. Ridge Racer Revolution. And similar to the last one, again one of my favourite games for the PlayStation. It is in a slightly battered case, but it's Resident Evil. So yeah, I'm very happy to find those. Not often you actually see sort of decent quality PlayStation games in charity shops anymore, so happy to get those. What next? Next I'll move on to a very kind gift from a good friend of mine, Mark. He sort of got in touch and asked if I was interested in a particular PlayStation game, and I said yes if it's got the poster stroke instructions, which may give you a clue as to what it is. I'll be very interested in it. And he said yeah, it has. It's lovely condition. I asked him how much he wanted for it. He said nothing. He come round and had a go on the VR, which he absolutely loved, for about 4 hours. And yeah, I just been to see him with his band the other day. So yeah, very grateful to him for this. I said I am a trip up to Arcade Club or something. We've been planning to do this for about a year or so now. So when he gets a free weekend, we shall head on off up the motorway and go and see Arcade Club at the new location. So anyway, the game, without any further ado, is Parappa the Rapper, and as mentioned, it's got the poster, which also doubles as the instructions, which is awesome. There you go. Now you may remember that I do actually have a copy of this, but I don't have the one with the instructions, so I was well pleased to get that. Very kind of him. And not only that, he also brought this along, because it was spare, and he sort of tends to play his games via emulation these days. He gave us a copy of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Again, really nice of him. So where to next? Again, as usual, you know the score by now. Very haphazard, I'm afraid. I'm flitting around from place to place. Got these from the recycle centre about a week and a half back. Couple of games I do have, couple of games I don't have, and an upgrade. So the games that I don't have are Stuntman Ignition for the 360, and I've heard good things about this, despite certain people, or a lot of people, perhaps not necessarily liking the film. The game is meant to be really good, so I've never played it. It's X-Men Origins Wolverine, Uncaged Edition. So yeah, very pleased to get that. Haven't played it yet. Do plan to, because I do like comic book films, movies, games, and so on. This one I got up. Basically, I think it might be actually better nicked than mine. It's Call of Duty World at War, and then Tony Hawk's Proving Ground, which I know is certainly in better nick than mine. I think mine doesn't have a manual. Don't think the disc is in the best shape. Don't think it's that bad, but this one is flawless. Basically, looks like it's barely been used, so that will be an upgrade. And the last one I certainly do have, I got on release day, but this one I sort of picked up because I knew I could probably trade it in. But also in here it has, I don't know if this still works, 1 month Xbox Live card, and it is of course a very nice condition copy of GTA 4. So I should be trying that. I don't know if it's the case where you know, you can't be an existing live member if you're planning to use that, but it's worth a try. And for £1, you know, I could be conceivably getting, you know, a month's worth of Xbox Live Gold, and you know, when it's 30-40 quid a year for that sort of thing, you know, you've got to take your chances when you can. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, nothing lost. I can trade the game in, you know, and sort of get my money back. So happy enough with that. Right, I shall show you some bits and bobs that I found at a car boot I hadn't been to for a couple of years, possibly. Again, it's a bit of a stretch away from where I live. It's about 30 mile away. I had some quite decent finds there, to be honest. Let's see. So, a couple of geeky things out of the way first. As you know by the name and me gabbling on about it in the past, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, so I saw these and they were I think £1.50 each or £2 each. I think I got them. I asked if they'd take £3 for them, and they said yeah. So it's a couple of these Star Wars Black Series vehicles. I've got a Sith Infiltrator, which is a very nice ship used by Darth Maul. Tragically underused character, killed him off far too quick in my view. And an X-Wing fighter. Can't remember if I've actually shown you these before. I might have shown you these in a past video, so if I have, I do apologise. You tend to forget what you've shown if you don't put things away. So yeah, I'll whiz through these very quickly. I think I have shown you these, you know. Yeah, I'll leave these to one side. No, I won't. I'll show you them very quickly, just in case. All of these were picked up for £1 or £2. You have to excuse me. My cat is on a box which has got something in that I'll show you towards the end of the video. And as you know, cats and boxes, they've got to go and sit on them, sit in them, do anything to them. So right, okay. Anyway, the games that I picked up, which I think I've probably showed you: Burnout Legends for PSP, Burnout Paradise PS3, Fallout New Vegas for the PS3, Fallout New Vegas for the Xbox 360, Resident Evil 5, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympics, Metal Gear Solid 2, Rayman Revolution, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Battlefront, and Star Wars Battlefront 2, and 360 version of Destiny, which was a couple of quid. I'm fairly sure I've showed you them, so hopefully that didn't take up too long. So, right, let's bring them over there. Another miscellaneous find from, actually I'll put that up there, I'll come back to that. Yes, I think those go there. I'll show you these very quickly. These are other things that I picked up at that car boot I think I've told you about. I used to love watching this when I was a kid. I can't remember if I've shown you these before. It's pretty much almost a complete series. It's missing one box worth of discs, I think, so it's a bit of a wounder, but I'll be quite happy enough watching the rest of them. And it is 4/5 of the complete series of Battle of the Planets. So I used to absolutely love that programme when I was a kid. Awesome. If you haven't heard of that, have a look. There's some footage on YouTube of it. It's absolutely awesome. It probably looks twee as hell now, but when you grew up with it, it was fantastic. There's the last one. Basically, I believe it was originally a Japanese series. I think it could have been called Gatchaman. Not sure, but yeah. Anyway, they, were all sort of heroes, and they had a spaceship which transformed into a huge flaming phoenix. Brilliant, brilliant. I highly recommend it to anyone. Anyway, other two things I picked up from there were Flight Simulator X or 10 and the Acceleration expansion pack. So yeah, that's that out of the way. I did go back to that car boot at the weekend, but I didn't really find a great deal. But I'll show you these anyway. These were 3 or 4 quid. Miscellaneous bits and bobs. They didn't have anything else. So the first thing was another PSP charger. Talking of which, I do remember I did mention in my last video that I found a PSP which I thought I'd been, for want of a better description, sort of done over on. It cost me 3 quid. It was one of those red metallic ones, PSP 3003. The sort of disc mechanism was knackered, but I thought I'll pick it up, see if I can salvage it, maybe use it as sort of digital only games, or for emulators and so forth. Couldn't get it working at the time, but good news is I have got it working. I'm not going to show you it here. It needs a battery cover and a new battery basically, but I've sort of swiped a battery out of one of my existing ones, tested it in there, and it does work. So yeah, that's a work in progress, but there it is. As you can see, the disc mechanism has been swiped by someone, but I can live with that because I've got my black one and my white one, and they work nicely. So like I say, that can be used for digital, and obviously not that I would want to smash any PSPs, but that's one I can certainly take places with me and not worry too much about it getting damaged. So hey, not too bad after all. Right, show you a couple of things. These came through a Facebook purchase. You have to excuse the case on this one. This was in better condition. The case wasn't perfect, but talking to cats earlier, the cat jumped all over this while it was sat on a worktop, well, a table, my computer desk specifically, and our cat, being as graceful as a hippopotamus in hobnail boots, decided to knock it on the floor, so smashed the case. So I'm going to be doing a case transplant on this, but it is for the Dreamcast EOS Exhibition of Speed. As you can see, she made a right mess of that. So yeah, well pleased with that. Not. This one's in better nick still. This is Magforce Racing, one that I've had before. Was in Dreamcast Collection version 1. So glad to have that back again. Guy that sold them got them to me nice and quick, and they were well packaged. Just a shame that when they bloody got here, the cat destroyed one of them. Anyway, the games are fine, the rest of the contents are fine. Not a great problem, just a pain really. So, what next? Yeah, talking of the car bid I went to the weekend, I found literally practically nothing. I'd actually gone back there because a guy that I picked up a couple of things from mentioned that, oh, I've got some Dreamcast and Saturn games at home, nothing too spectacular, but you know, if you come back next time, and this one runs every 2 weeks, yeah, I'll bring them with me. So I went back this weekend, found him eventually. He seems like a late riser, he's one of the last ones to set up, so I was sort of mooching around, sort of killing time really, looking at all the stalls that I'd been around twice already. Got there, asked him, I think it was his mate actually, there was 2 of them running it, but asked him and he went, oh no, we ain't got any there. So that was a bit of a wasted journey, but I did get a couple of things. Got a couple of geeky things. I got a graphic novel which I won't show you. Did find this sealed, which I've got for the PlayStation 4, but this is obviously for the 360. Still in its packaging. It is Sniper Elite 3. That cost me a £5, so in 2 minds at the moment. Do I keep it? Do I trade it in? I'm not sure. I really like the Sniper Elite games. Very good fun, albeit sort of makes you wince, especially if you shoot someone in a particular area. Anyway, the only other thing I note really that I found was someone with a box of CDs, and I sort of can't remember what caught me eye. I think this caught me eye. Civilization Call to Power for PC. I was sort of sorting through, and the woman says, oh, you can have them, whatever you find in there you can have for free. And it was mainly music, but I got that, and Red Baron 2, and a PlayStation demo disc, which amongst other things has got Legend of Dragoon on there, a demo, playable demo. I've never played that, so thought it was worth picking up just for that. So all of those 3 things were completely free, and the woman said basically she buys lots of CDs and keeps what she likes, maybe sells a couple of things, and then sort of just puts the rest in a box and lets people have them. It's just a nice way of going about things. If you excuse me, sorry about that. Too much talking, not enough breathing. So yeah, nice way of going about things. If obviously it's something she don't want, doesn't think she can sort of sell effectively, just let people have them. So very nice. I made sure I thanked her profusely for that. I've skipped a bit. I was talking about the PSP charger. The other 2 things I got with that were a third-party Dreamcast controller, which I picked up more as a curiosity than anything. And lo and behold, I said I didn't see these very often, and I'm sure I remember me saying this in one of my previous videos, so I do apologise. It's another fishing controller, just to prove I'm not talking rubbish. There's the other one. So I've now actually got 3 of these things. So I should probably move one on and keep the other one as spare stroke 2-player, if you need it for 2-player. Can't remember. Anyway, not bad for effectively £1.33. So yes, what next? I'll show you these next. This was at one of these cash generator type places, but like a private concern, so it sort of riffs off the name really. But yeah, same sort of thing. People put things in, get them on buyback, or sell them second hand, and get loans off them and so on. And they were having a sort of day where there was 20% off everything in the store. Which, if I'd have been a bit richer, I might have sort of bought one thing in particular. But I've actually got a voucher for them, which gives me 20% off anyway. So if the thing I'm thinking about is still there, you may see next month another pickup. Anyway, moving on. Saw 2 games. This one I used to have on the 360. Wasn't a great fan of it, so I actually traded it in, which is unusual for me. I thought I'll trade it in now, get the value for it, and I'll pick it up later when it's cheaper. So it is cheaper now, albeit I got it for the PS4 this time, and it is Need for Speed The Rivals. like I said, I couldn't really get into it the first time, so hopefully, you know, it might be a bit patched up or something, but I'll have another go on that, hold on to it this time. But yeah, I thought I might as well sort of get the value of it and then sort of pick it up later on, so that's what I did. This one, my wife has been wanting me to get for the PlayStation 4, because she wants to go on it. Not sure it'd be a thing, technically, but I did say I'd keep my eye open for it, and I'd sort of, after being initially sort of not too fussed about it, I've seen some gameplay and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it'd be good fun. So anyway, picked this up as well. That is Ghost Recon, what's this one? Wildlands. So yeah, this was 20 quid originally, so 20% off made it 16 quid, and this was 8 quid I think, and obviously that became something like about £6.40. So yeah, I thought why not. So right, back flitting around as I do to car boot from a couple of weeks ago. These are not in the best condition. You'll see what I mean in a minute. A couple of Mega Drive games. So usually when I see Mega Drive games these days, I pick them up. These were from that car boot that I said I returned to. I might have shown you these already. Apologies. Anyway, I'll show you them very quickly. Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco Grand Prix 2. Unfortunately, just kart only. No instructions, but it works. I've had a go on it, so nevertheless pleased to get that. And this one is very beaten up. It's a Genesis version of Ms. Pac-Man, and I don't know what's happened to this in the past, but the entire rear of the inlay is gone. So it's got the spine, it's got the front, it's got no manual, but it has got the kart, and again that works fine. So yeah, I picked that up. So they were £1 each. I asked the guy, I says, how much are those? He goes, oh, make me an offer, which I hate, really. I'm not a big fan of that, because you don't want to offend someone by offering too low, and obviously, you know, you don't take something along with you unless you've got a price in mind for it, unless you're really unprepared. And this was one of those guys that you could tell he'd got a whole load of stuff, so obviously he knew he was going to be doing a car boot, so you'd expect him to sort of have something in mind and just sort of say, oh well, so many pounds, or make me an offer, you know, give us something to go from, you know. Would he have been offended if I'd have said 10p each? I don't know. Anyway, it's obviously a tactic used to sort of get more than you're anticipating out of it. So, you know, as much as I don't like offending anyone, you know, I'm more likely to fire in a low offer, a la Jay off the Game Chasers. Maybe not quite as low as him, but there you go. Anyway, these ones also car boot pickups, and I got one of them originally. There were 4 there in total. My competition, who I've affectionately nicknamed Mr. Bag, because he carries around an enormous great bag with him and then just sort of scoops a load of stuff up. But I am sort of on partially nodding terms with him now, because obviously I know who he is, and he's obviously come to recognise me. So you sort of just, alright. Anyway, he picked up one which was for the Mega Drive, and it was theme park. The other 3, like I say, I picked one up originally, which I was really pleased to see. And then I went back for the other 2, because one of which I have already, but well, I might as well show you. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, which obviously most people with a Mega Drive have got one or several copies of. There we go. Now, the reason I picked that up at, I think it was £3. No, it wasn't. It was supposed to be £3. Now I got this and the next one for £5, so £2.50 these 2. This one I don't have. It is Winter Olympics, and again in nice shape. So yeah, after some of them in an hour in, I thought, well, it's a sports title, but I've never played it, and it's you don't really see the Mega Drive games that often anymore, so why not sort of bolster the collection by one. it'll be fun, I'm sure. So anyway, got those two. The one I got originally, as soon as I saw it I thought I'm having that. Picked it up and I thought, well, so long as it's not too expensive. This was £3 and it is Lotus Turbo Challenge, which I played to death, that and Lotus 2 especially, and to a lesser extent 3 on the Amiga. I absolutely played them to death. Didn't play them on the Mega Drive till later, but there we go. Got the manual, got the cart, so very pleased to get that. So yeah, that was the weekend just gone. The weekend before, no, actually before I show you that, got these from the recycle centre, which you probably can't tell in this light. 2 of these, one of which has been cleaned, the other one hasn't. 2 360 controllers. Not sure if you can see how grimy that is. This is probably the least grimy of the 2. This one comes with a oh no, swapped them over. Basically this one comes with a play and charge thing, battery. This one still needs cleaning, but that's right, I'll put that in there to make sure it worked. So yes, it does, is the short answer. The other one, which was in worse nick, was this one, which I've sort of stripped down totally, washed, cleaned, sort of cleaned a little bit of corrosion out of that last battery pack that we saw. Here's the play and charge. Hang on a minute. I'm going mad here. I'm sure one of them had a play and charge battery. Ah! Bear with me. This one is my dusty one. Oops. Right, it's my dusty spare one. This is the grubby one. It rattles as well, but it does work. There we go. And you can probably see that one is a bit crappy. But there it is. Play and charge battery. Anyway, these were £3 each. There's the clean one. That was long-winded, wasn't it? And confusing. Anyway, so yes, I got those. Another little project, which you'll probably see now, actually, or in a couple of minutes. This is a car boot a couple of weeks ago. The local one that I go to on a Sunday. That I generally go to when I get up too late to go to any of the others. It's generally pretty rubbish. There's generally not a lot there. There's a fair amount of competition, but generally the stuff that gets taken on is a bit rubbish. Anyway, did find a couple. Apologies, jump cut there. I think the recording stopped, so I'm not sure how much of my previous gabble has been recorded. Anyway. To provide a quick recap, I was on about the fairly rubbish car boot that I go to when I get up too late to go to the other ones. Generally not a lot of good stuff taken along to those. There's too much competition, if you like. Generally I don't go there very often anymore, plus they've sort of the land that they use for that particular car boot is being built on now, so yeah, it's all squeezed into a very tiny area, so there's a very limited number of stalls there now, so you know, it's not particularly good. You see the same faces selling the same knackered old rubbish every time. Anyway, I did find a couple of good things. So the first of which was this, which I got for £2, which is the Pokemon guide for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I picked up mainly because it's a nice manual guide. My wife is more into the modern Pokemon than I am, so no doubt she'll pick up some bits and bobs from that. The other thing that I saw, now this was very unusual. It was set up like one of these stalls where there's the world supply of electronic stuff in varying conditions, but there was a number of consoles on there, including a couple of PS1s, the little tiny ones, various leads, all sorts of bits and bobs. But at the end there was a stack of probably 30 cases, maybe 20 cases in each pile, 4 piles of PlayStation games, which to my surprise no one was sorting through. They were soon afterwards, but I'll come back to that. I picked up well, 4 essentially, in varying conditions. I sort of had a look through them all, and you know, not a lot of them were complete. There were missing bits here and there. So I picked up what I quite liked. This is a definite upgrade on the one that I've got. So this will be a keeper. It is Destruction Derby 2, and as you can see, it's got the disc and manual, and they're in nice nick. So yeah, that's a keeper. Another game that you don't see particularly often, this one is missing the manual. This I picked up the second one to this a few weeks ago, which I was really pleased with. It is Roll Cage. Again, like I say, just the disc and obviously both sides of the inlay. These are all £1 each, incidentally. The next one I got, sadly, is missing the front cover and the manual, but the disc is okay, and it's got the rear inlay. It is this one, Kurushi. Never played it. I think I've seen someone mention this is one of those, you use the term loosely, a hidden gem. Like I say, never played it. £1, I'll give it a go. You know, I might even go online and see if I can find a copy of the front cover to print off to make it look a bit tidier, but there you go. Obviously Kurushi. Puzzle game, from what I understand. And the last one, I was extraordinarily surprised to see this, and it was sort of like a mixed blessing. What I saw was that. However, despite having the manual, which is in nice nick, and disc 3 in very nice nick, which you might be able to see there. Oh, not sure if you're getting this, but yeah, that's you know, unscratched. It was missing disc 2 and disc 1, very strangely, despite there not being a box for this one. Otherwise I'd have put it back in there due to sort of my OCD ways. It was disc for Abe's Odyssey, so I thought, well, if it's in there and I can't find another, you know, the proper case to put it in, I might as well keep it in there. So yeah, disc only of Abe's Odyssey, disc 3 and a box and case for Final Fantasy 7. So £1, not too bad. Excuse me one moment. Back again. The next thing I got, mainly because of what it came with. It didn't come with an aerial lead, didn't come with a power lead, did come with a controller, didn't come with a badge. It's an original PlayStation. As you can see, it's missing the logo there, which is a bit of a theme, but I'll come back to that. It powers up. I can't get it reading discs yet, but I haven't really taken it to bits as yet, so I'll be tinkering with this. The reason I wanted it and paid £3 for it was it came with this. I do have one of these already. Again, this needs stripping down, cleaning up. So I'm quite pleased to actually have 2 of these. It is the Namco controller. This one, if I remember, is called the Joy-Con. In fact, it might say on the back. No, it doesn't say on the back, but yeah, it's a bit. It's seen better days, but yeah, I've actually got 2 of these now, which I'm really pleased with. Good for playing Ridge Racer games, which I love, which I've mentioned earlier. So yeah, I saw that. Sort of went and had a look around the rest, didn't really see a great deal. Went back and asked how much this next particular item is, and you may be sick of seeing these and hearing the same story, or similar story. It is, again, missing the logo or the badge. Another PlayStation 3, fat one with the presumably 60 gig hard drive in. I haven't had a look at it properly yet, but this one is probably one of the better cases that I've got, so again I'll be trying to Frankenstein this. Familiar yellow light of death, but it was a fiver, so yeah. My wife made an exasperated face and rolled her eyes a lot, and I said I've got yet another one. So yeah, I'll be stripping this one down and nabbing the good parts for want of anything else. To put on one of the two, well, one working one especially, and one which I'm halfway through stripping down, putting back together with bits from other ones. So you know, may have two working ones by the end of it all. And I might use the other bits for part stroke messing around with. I'm not sure that's the right description, but yeah, basically just tinkering, maybe developing my limited skills. Anyway, on to this, which I've left till near the end. This is from the recycle centre. It had a sign in saying, oh, excuse me, let's see if I can find the sign. It had this on it. It says untested memorabilia item only. It's a £10, and it is my second one of these. An unusual setup, looking a bit worse for wear. It's an Acorn Electron, another one. As you can see, it's mounted on wood, or well, taped to wood. I think that's because it's got the expansion for it, the Acorn Electron Plus 1. I certainly haven't got that, so I thought it was worth picking up for that. Again, I'm yet to power it up, so you know it might be. Oh, that don't look so clever. Oh, I don't know actually. Sorry. Yeah, it might work, it might not. But anyway, this is sort of like an expansion for it, so I think it allows you to add further things to the system. It's got a port on the back, I think, for a joystick. Not sure what the other port is for, but yeah. The idea behind the wooden bit is, I believe, you slot this into the back, which I'm doing as carefully as possible. There we go. And it looks like that. So yeah, this was, like I say, £10, so I thought it'd be daft not to, even if it's a bit of a gamble, and obviously it needs a hell of a clean. But I do have a working Electron, so I do have a power supply. This one came with no cables. It did come with a box of software. Some unusual ones. So I'll go through them as quick as I can. One of them I do know I've got already. Others I don't. So let's pick these out of here very quickly. Interestingly, there is something in there that implies there might have been something else. Very cryptic. Anyway, the first thing to show you is Electron User. Never read it. Ooh. Barbarian. It's a blast from the past. Right, so first thing we got is the welcome software. There it is. Introductory cassette. This one is in. These are all very dusty, so they will be cleaned and tested at some point. Oh, that is an empty case. Saw this. I think I picked this up just because it was the box and found out it had something different in there. But this actually has the software in this time. It is, and I remember the TV programme from Yorkshire Television. Me and my micro. Pleasant looking chap with a beard. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. Fred Harris, it says on the back. Anyway, yeah, that's good. Again, good for nostalgia. A couple of loose tapes, one of which I think has come out of one of these boxes. I'll come back to them. Collins Software. This is a kids game. Paddington and the Disappearing Ink. Games from a simpler time. Countdown to Doom. Here we go. This is a box for that. Planetoid. Now it says there for the BBC microcomputer Model B. So whether there was a BBC micro with this, I don't know. It certainly wasn't when I got there, otherwise I'd have been very pleased, because I don't have a Beeb, and that would have sort of reminded me very much of school, where we used to know more than the IT teacher, because it was that new when we got the BBCs in. I think we had a room with about 8 of them in, and they were networked, and we used to piddle about on the network and take remote control of other people's systems. We'd got a copy of Revs that we hid on. How did we hide it? I can't remember how we hid it, but basically we used to play that whenever the teacher wasn't in the room. Instead of doing what we should have been doing, we were playing Revs. Anyway, this other one, again, for the BBC microcomputer Model B, Monsters. So, I'd be curious to know if there was a Beeb in there at one point. Anyway, the other games, or bits of software, are Starship Command, very nice condition. Productivity software, this looks like it's never been used. This looks almost brand new. Desk Diary. This one I do have already. Sphinx Adventure. I'm just checking it's got the right tape in. Yes, it has. Strange how these are in big boxes but with no inlay for the tape. Sphinx Adventure. I'm sure I've got this one already from about 6 months ago when I found some Acorn games. It's got a little hint card which came in an envelope, so I'm going to pop that in there, because when I do have a go on it, I'm going to see if I can play it without any hints. Let's see if I can fit it back in the envelope. Looks like it's sealed shut again. Oh no, it's come out the bottom. So I should pop that back in there. Don't want to cheat until I get really stuck. And last one is Boxer, which looks like a bit of a platform game. Mentions on the back, also available Hopper, Freefall and Arcadians. Arcadians being a game when I got my original Electron, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I couldn't believe how good a game that was. Sounds on it was brilliant, as was the gameplay. So anyway, that cost me a tenner. Like I say, I don't know as yet whether it works. I'm still pretty pleased with it, even if it doesn't work. You know, if the expansion works, that's a bonus. And if none of it works, then I've got some bits of software. And it's worth, as with most things, it's worth a gamble, isn't it? Anyway, so I'll move that to one side. The last few things are from the DVD Music and Game Shop, which I mentioned in my last video, which is closing down soon. Into the last couple of weeks now, and you know, it's down to the bare bones. Before they got too low on stock, I did go in there and found a few things which were cheaper than they would have otherwise been. So these are a bit haphazard. I got this one effectively because it was about £2.50. I've got it on the 360. I don't have it on the Xbox One. It is Call of Duty Ghosts. One that I've seen around. Always thought it looked a bit like a cheapy sort of budget crappy game, excuse my French, but I've since learned it. I think it's meant to be quite good in the sort of feel of 1942, 1943, and this is Strikers. I'm not sure if this is Strikers 1945 too, but yeah, there it is. Manual's a bit bent up, but otherwise good nick. There it is. It can be deceptive. It's like that mobile light force which I keep looking out for, I haven't found yet. Looks like the world's shoddiest attempt at a Charlie's Angels game, but is in fact a very good shooter. So anyway, moving on. This one I'd had my eye on for a while. I know it's basically just Mega Drive games on CDs, but it is the Sega Classics Arcade Collection. There it is. My Mega CD collection grows ever so slightly. I think I'm up to, not counting individual games on the CDs, I think I've got basically 4 Mega CD games. But yeah, pleased to have these. It's got Golden Axe, Super Monaco Grand Prix, Streets of Rage, Columns and Revenge of Shinobi. 4 of which I already have, but nice to have them on the Mega CD anyway. That cost £5. You know, when you see it for that, you're not gonna moan, are you? The next one, I got a copy for myself and a copy for my niece, who incidentally is a subscriber. Hello, Evie. Hope I'm not boring you to tears. She's the girl who basically I mentioned, I think in passing, where she's recently come into some retro games. She's got a Mega Drive and I think a Master System converter and a Game Gear. And it was approaching her birthday the other week, and I thought, what can I get her? And I suddenly thought, well, she's just got, you know, these retro systems. Why not have a quick look in that shop and see what I could find? So I got 1 copy each for us. Taz, Escape from Mars. Basically, I've got like I say, a copy for me, a copy for Evie, and I also got Evie Cool Spot and Aladdin. So she tells me she's enjoying them. I hope that's right. I hope you're not just saying it to be nice. But yeah, I thought that was a good a present as any. So yeah, hopefully she's having fun with those. So let us know in the comments, Evie. Let us know how you're getting on. These ones I picked up a few days afterwards. This one is one that I've always fancied getting, because I used to love playing this in the arcades, just pressing the buttons for the different viewpoints. Blew my mind at the time. And it is Virtua Racing. Obviously no manual, but otherwise good nick. Absolutely love that. I couldn't get over the fact, oh look, I used to call my parents over. I said, look at this, I'm pressing all these buttons, and look, I'm in the car, I'm outside the car. Loved it. Anyway, don't want to get too far down that road, otherwise this video will last forever. Next one, very surprised to find. I haven't got this. I used to have it. Space Harrier 2. Did I mention this one in the last video? Can't remember. Anyway, apologies if I did. But there we go. Great game. These two I don't think I did. This is what used to be known as the Killing Game Show on the Amiga. Again, played some time on that one. Mainly around of friends. He was the guy with the Amiga, with the fantastic games room in the loft. Basically, what drew my attention to it, but all the way back then, was that the robot in it looked a bit like Ed 209 out of Robocop, so obviously that piqued my attention. But it was a good game in itself, and like I say, I think they renamed this for some reason. I quite like the original name, to be honest, but it's Fatal Rewind. Again, it's not got the manual. But is another otherwise good nick. I think this cost me £5 or £6, maybe £4. I can't remember now, but there it is. And this one I've never played. Again, I've heard good things about it. It's another EA game. It is Haunting, starring Poltergeist. This one does have the manual. It's been taped up at some point, but I ain't too fussed about that. If they're in boxes, I'm happy with the Mega Drive. And if it's a good enough game, I'll actually put up with it not being in a case. I prefer them in cases, the Mega Drive, because they're hard cases and obviously they don't deteriorate as bad as the Super Nintendo games do and the N64 games do, and the NES games. Talking of which, back in a sec. disorganised is this video? Sorry. Right, last couple of things from that shop. Again, I've been umming and ahhing about these. The reductions made these a tenner each. This is a boxed Super Nintendo game of some reputation. It is, without much ado, the Addams Family. It's certainly seen better days, but I can't remember if I actually played this back in the day. I certainly didn't own it, but it's got the manual. I'll just show you that because I am atrocious at getting these manuals in without bending them up. So there we go, nice and careful. Obviously the cart's in there. Like I say, the case is not the best, but yeah, I can't remember if I think I might have just rented this because that was back in the day. There was not only Blockbuster but lots of little concerns renting games. Played Axlate the first time ever renting from one of those places, but I digress again. So yeah, pleased to get that. And this one, I've yet to take the label off because it's a bit sort of welded on, and the case on this one is otherwise fantastic, you know, really good. So obviously this has the original price on there, $19.99. That was reduced to a tenner. From what I can see, it looks like a sort of a platformer. Not sure if it's meant to be a good game or not, but it's a minty game and it was reduced to £10, so let me know in the comments if it's any good. I've yet to play it. It's King Arthur's World, and as you can see, that is probably the mintiest Super Nintendo game I'm ever going to own these days. And there it is. You know, it's absolutely great shape. You know, I feel like Retro Dave Nintendo and Cyber Snake J showing you that. Like I said, I'd love to own all those bits of kit in such good condition, but you know, unfortunately it's out of my price range. I mean, this is, I think, got the original baggie still, and the manual is pretty much as good as you might expect, or you know, hope for, I should say. Obviously, apart from the fact it's got a blue marker on the front, someone's written P on there, meaning pre-owned, I think, which is a bit of a shame, but I can live with that. So yeah, like I say, unfortunately the place is now a bit of a sad shadow of its former self. It's down to, you know, bare bones. There's a couple of things I might pick up in there, but otherwise pretty much gone. These things I picked up while I was over the other side of the room, picking up something I nearly forgot to include, believe it or not. Before I do that, I will show you this, which I found, I think it was either £1 or 50p. I got this one for trading value, to be honest. It's Black Ops. No, I didn't. I don't actually have this for the PS3, so I'll probably hold on to it. Black Ops for the PS3. These are the two things I nearly forgot to show you. I got, again, this is from that car boot I think I've shown you stuff from, so I'll be quick. Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, and Space Quest 4. I'm really going to have to watch my previous videos more to sort of remind myself what I've showed you, what I haven't. The last thing I definitely haven't showed you. Found this when I was out and about in a local town. I sort of went in the charity shops, didn't really find a great deal. Went into a computer exchange, saw this. It's not with the manual, unfortunately. It just said boxed on the label, but it just showed the cart in the window. And you know, it weren't the cheapest in the world, but I thought this is supposed to be the best one of the series, certainly of the original series, from what I've heard. I've never played any of them. I think I mentioned in my last video, I do remember that, I mentioned in my last video I've never played any of this series. So I thought, why not get this? Treat myself. It's Mega Man 2. Hard to believe, isn't it? certain game series you just don't play. So there it is. It's got a non-official slipcase, sleeve, whatever you call them, but the cart is nice. So yeah, I decided to treat myself to it. So once I've got all my recent finds all sorted into some sort of order, I'm going to crack on with this on the NES. See if it's all it's cracked up to be. I've heard it's hard, but I'll enjoy having a go at that. And I know that, you know, if it's not my cup of tea, who am I trying to kid? I was going to say I can move it on. I won't do that. I'll hold on to it, give it a go in a year's time. But anyway, that's something to play for the future. So I think that is about it for the time being. It'll probably go a little quiet for the next few weeks, but recording stopped again, so another jump cut. I'm going to have to get used to this. I said I was going to actually look into whether the settings allow me to record for longer, so mental note, must do that for next time. Anyway, I was just rounding off, so yeah, so I was saying we're approaching that holiday time of year, so I won't be spending too much on games in the next few weeks or so. So yeah, it might go a little quiet on the channel. I might try and put some gameplay videos up. We'll see. So yes, I will round off now because this video will have dragged on long enough already. By thanking everyone who watches and subscribes. Once again, thank you for subscribing to new subscribers. Thank you for staying subscribed as existing subscribers. Obviously, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and obviously let us know in the comments what you think of the finds. Like I said, I think I've done fairly well. Some nice things there that I've picked up. Obviously, some of them at the expense of, but you know, I still feel a little like I'm profiting from someone, not so much going out of business, but deciding to pack it all in. And obviously, I know further down the line the shop's going to be shut. I won't be able to go in there anymore. So, you know, it's a bittersweet success when you pick up a game from there at the moment. Anyway, don't want to end on a melancholy note. I hope everyone else is having a good summer. Hoping everyone's finding some good stuff, good games to play. I at the moment am still playing that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, really liking it, really enjoying watching people stream it, especially Ian Higton off Eurogamer. His streams are very entertaining. His play style matches mine in that, without too fine a point on it, he's a bit of a coward. He basically finds all the kit, goes and hides, tries to stay out of fights, and sort of see if you can survive the last sort of third of the game, really. I think my best is about top 9 so far. I've got to the top 15 about 3 or 4 times. Got in the top 10 once. Haven't been anywhere near winning. Case in point, I got into the world's smallest little shed in the game, thinking I'll hide here for a minute. Went in there, there was a guy lurking in the corner. I think he was as surprised as I was. Basically, all you could see was me doing this, and him doing the same, and eventually he managed to get more shots on me while I was panicking, and he killed me and I finished 13th. But yeah, I'd encourage you, if you've got a PC, give it a try, or at least give it a watch on YouTube. It's quite entertaining and obviously a unique experience every time. Anyway, I said I wouldn't gabble on. There I was gabbling on. I'm going to round off now. Thanks again for watching, everyone. This is Darth Steve 333 signing off. Bye bye.